What's up, Mortgage Coach community? Dave Savage sitting down with Andrew Soss. Andrew, what's up, my brother?
Not a whole lot, and a whole lot.
Yeah. Now, dude, Andrew, for those that don't know him, is usually $100 million man. So that's a pretty typical year, over 100 million. But last year he did over 200. So monster production. Congratulations. You ended up at 212 or
214, but who's counting?
Yeah, right. Well, I'm counting.
Okay, then 214 and change.
So congrats on that.
214 and HELOC.
Yeah. So one thing that distinguishes you in my world when I think of you is someone that does a good job of supporting realtors and also does a good job of keeping clients for life. Like you've always had a good balance of that.
Right.
In some ways, you're known as that like client for life guy. Like you've got a really good system and process to make sure that someone does a loan with you, they're coming back.
Right.
Tell us about that. How do you balance realtors and refis?
So, I mean, I think there's people, I mean, whenever I'm on the Clubhouse calls or I'm on panels or I'm listening to all these other people that do a lot of volume, I listen to them, and I'm sure there's people that'll listen to our conversation today, and it'll make you feel like a big piece of crap because you feel like, oh my gosh, they're doing all these things that I'm not doing. I think part of that is just acceptance of there are more great ideas of how to run your business than the ability to do them, right? So you have to accept the fact that you are not going to do everything that Keith Collins does or Jeremy Forcier does or Josh Metal or Ryan Grant or Andrew Soss. Like you're going to do things your own way, and you can certainly pick and choose things that you think would fit within your own workflow, within your own practice. But trying to do all of it means you're not going to do any loans, most likely. So I look at it, that took me probably 10 years to learn that, to not jump around doing a whole lot of different things and really streamline my focus on what am I really good at. This comes from a product standpoint, from a type of client standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, from a workflow standpoint, from a hiring, staffing, all of that stuff. You have to do, I believe, a good job at assessing your personal strengths and weaknesses, complementing those with your staff and your technology, and being okay with leaving really good ideas on the back burner, and I think just streamlining to what you do really well. So for me, I do really, really well within the context of a purchase transaction with let's say a first-time buyer or like a second-time buyer. That I think is my absolute highest and best. My highest and best is translating complex mortgage concepts into ways that people can understand them, and also being able to meet people at their level of financial sophistication and assessing where their level of financial sophistication is, and then talking to them in that way. I'll give you an example. Go ahead if you want to.
Oh, well, I mean, that was just so important. You said that so clearly. Like my job is to make complex things simple,
right,
and to meet the consumer at their level. And that is the magic of top producers. And that's one of the things Mortgage Coach does.
I think it's something that not enough people recognize or talk about, is the ability to quickly assess the financial sophistication of your clients and not talk over them or under them. So you have, for me, I have, what's that?
How do you do that? Like, give us some.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know how I do it outside of just it's a lot of conversations and sort of figuring it out. But part of it, I can tell you some tricks. Like if you call you up and like, okay, great. Where do you work? I work at Boeing. What do you do? I'm an engineer. Awesome. I'm going to have a different level of conversation with that person than I am with the, more of a blue collar, maybe first time buyer, hasn't done this. I mean, it's good. I'm going to go on a level of detail with the engineer that I wouldn't necessarily go with somebody who's pretty naive financially. And not better or worse, it's just, you're going to overwhelm the person who's more naive, and you're going to underwhelm the person who is the engineer who wants all the detail. One of the things I love about, not to make this a commercial about Mortgage Coach, but you can do that really well within, Mortgage Coach, because it gives that high level, like what's my payment, what's my closing cost, and then drill down to the level of detail that you actually want. So that, for me, Mortgage Coach complements the way that I run my practice in that way. in terms of how you figure that out, like I said, what do they do for a living? Just talking to them for a few minutes, you're going to get some indication of have they have the first clue about what they're stepping into? Have they done 20 minutes of Google and YouTube research? Have they bought and sold 20 houses in the past? All those are going to change how you quote, how you interact, what kind of spreadsheets or mortgage coach or analysis or TCAs or even how you write your emails. I think a lot of that for me is just intuitive at this point. Like I'm not thinking about that on a conscious level so much. Although sometimes I'll jot down some notes on an initial intake of like, I'll just put detail oriented, and then I'll know like, okay, like, wow, this guy with details, because he's gonna love that, and then that's gonna create client for life. So that's the first part of like, how do you create connection within the context of like a first initial conversation with somebody. Then you have to actually deliver on their initial transaction, be it purchase or refi. Mainly for us, primarily our new customers are purchase customers, and our refis all come from past purchase customers outside of the random referrals that come our way. What are
you doing to support your past clients and keep them client for life? I mean, I know Mortgage Coach is part of the value that you provide to them. How do you use Mortgage Coach with past clients? And then what else do you use?
Yeah.
What are you doing for past clients?
We're going to start treading into that area of where other people do this a lot better than I do. And I, another one of those back burner, like the whole annual review thing. I've just never gotten that off the ground in my practice. I know that it's a great tool. I know that Mortgage Coach makes it super easy to be able to do that. I've heard other great producers that are doing it. It just hasn't been something that I've integrated. I've been pretty good at keeping track of interest rates. I'm in a market where average loan is 550. So it only takes 3/8 of a point.
Remind us what market you're in.
California, all over California, mainly Orange County.
Okay, so you're in Orange County, California.
Orange County, Long Beach, yeah. I actually live in Tennessee, but my market's in California.
Whoa. I am seeing more of that. When did you move?
December.
So just this year.
Yeah.
And wow. So I am seeing more loan officers. And guys, that's not only happening in the mortgage business, that's happening in all industries. Yeah. People are moving where they want to do their life, and they can work and have their business anywhere. So anyways, Keep it going, man.
Yeah. So, my main funnel has been, do a really good job on the initial purchase. So I've got like 3 main places where I get my business. I've got realtors and other financial planners, but mainly realtors. I've got past clients, and I have basically Yelp. I've got a lot of Yelp reviews. It's kind of how I built my business. So those are 3 funnels that come in, and ultimately they all filter into my database. And so my whole goal is how quickly and how broadly can I build my database so that every time there's a 3/8 dip in rates, I can go take advantage of 6 months worth of purchases and refinance them. So the larger your average loan size, the more you're going to be purchase or refi driven. The refis become a bigger component of that. So creating systems around staying in touch with your past clients from the next purchase standpoint, but also just from the refinance standpoint, has to be automated to the extent that you can. So we set up rate alerts in our system in Optimal Blue that'll trigger as soon as they hit a certain dollar amount of savings. And that's how we've been able to keep track of that and stay on top of them. And then, just do a little bit of drip marketing on them. I don't do a whole lot else outside of that. I'm not picking up the phone and calling them once a year. And there's all sorts of stuff that I could do to increase it that I just haven't. So for me, that is disappointing and exciting at the same time. It's exciting in that I know that there's a whole lot more that I could squeeze out of this database if I wanted to.
Yeah, but you are tracking. You guys heard he's using a CRM. He's using Mortgage Coach.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with your Yelp stats. You've got 194 looks like 5-star reviews.
Yeah, maybe 190 or so, and 4 shitty ones, crappy ones. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean that's a lot. How much business do you get from your Yelp presence?
Gosh, I mean, okay, that's a loaded question. In some ways I could tell you the ones that I get directly from Yelp on a month in, month out basis, maybe 5 to 10 deals a month.
You get 5 to 10 deals a month.
Closed
That's
deals.
60 to 120 loans a year.
Specifically from people finding me on Yelp and contacting me directly.
That is
But if
badass.
you dig deeper into the family tree of where Andrew's business came from, like I almost guarantee what I do, 408 units last year. 375 of those probably came from Yelp at some point. If you, you know, a referral from a Yelp, from a realtor who I got off of this deal, because I mean, if you start backtracking all of that, I think I'll end up seeing that like pretty much my entire business was built off of that. I mean, I got on Yelp in 2009 in the Bay Area. So it was like getting into Bitcoin 2013. I've always just had more reviews than everyone else in my market. And so it's like being number one on Google, you just suck all the air out of the room. So it's hard for anybody else to really get deals.
Give us just a hack or a script, you know, something that you use to get reviews on Yelp.
Well, at this point, it's easy because so many people came from that directly. So they're naturally going to do it. So the only process really that we put in place at this point is my business development manager and partner, Aaron, will send out a templated email. So like basically just does it once a month. So I'll send him all the closed deals for the month. He'll go in and send out an email, and I'll pull out the ones that I don't want him to ask for a review just because of whatever. And then he'll send it, and, you know, probably, I don't know, if I close 30 deals in a month, we'll get 5 or 6 reviews out of that.
Would you mind sharing that email template, or do you?
Oh yeah, yeah, no problem.
So guys, we'll put a link down below to that. We'll show that email template, and just know that that's an option. I mean, reviews, modern mortgage professionals are strategic about collecting reviews,
Yeah,
promoting reviews. If you use Social Survey, it integrates with Mortgage Coach,
right.
and it actually shows up on your total cost analysis. Hey, we didn't do any prep, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Okay.
do you have a TCA on your screen that you could show so I can get an example?
Yeah, I didn't. Let me see.
Log in.
Yep.
Talk about that. I'll talk for a minute to give you a minute to do that. We do have a live audience in our Facebook group. So for those of you that are watching this live in our Facebook group, let us know if you have questions. I'd love to know how many other loan officers are using Yelp strategically. I have interviewed other loan officers that are generating 5+ loans from Yelp, but it's a pretty small group of loan officers that are doing that. But I have heard it before. But just about every modern mortgage professional now is using reviews strategically. They would tell you that they're important to their conversion. And I always think it's awesome that not only when they help you with conversion, but they also help generate business. And Andrew, in your case, that's like an insane amount of business.
Yeah, I've got one up. What do you want me to do?
Just click in the bottom of the screen. It says there's a little green box with an arrow pointing up. It says,
all right, let me make sure I'm not sending something bad. Hold on.
All right.
There we go.
Take your time. So guys, this is a guy who closed over 400 transactions last year. Is very strategic. This looks like an example TCA. Do you add videos to them?
I don't do any videos just because I don't like getting dressed in the morning. Like I got really dressed up for this interview today.
All right, you can still do it. Well, walk us through this TCA. Like, click on the preview highlight and.
Yeah. So let me just get over here.
He's in the advice engine right now, and he's going to the preview button. And for anyone who's not familiar with Mortgage Coach, this is the consumer experience. This is what the family gets, is what you're going to see next. What you saw before was the loan officer dashboard. So this looks like a purchase options TCA.
Right. Yeah. So this person wanted some very specific numbers. So they wanted to compare just a 20% down jumbo, $1,250,000 price. And then they wanted me to give them a very specific cash to close number. I don't even remember why they're like back into 226,000 cash to close. And I think I did, let me just see real quick on here if I did. Yeah, so I did a 20% down jumbo, and then I did a first and second combo, a couple different options for first and second combos. I think one was at the rate buy down. Yeah, 2.875. Oh no, what was it? Let's see. I don't know what the difference was. No.
You click on closing costs, it'll net out
Thank you. Yeah.
the points and fees right there.
What's this say? 226. I'm trying to figure out what I backed into.
Yeah, it looks like none of them had points. Well, but I get
a
to
bigger second.
listen.
This is a bigger purchase price. This is 1,225,000 versus 1,250,000, and they wanted 226 cash to close
Got
on
it.
both of those. So anyway, this is the kind of customization. This is not a typical one that I would put together. Typically, and we find a more typical one that I like. I do a lot of PMI options.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, what we're seeing for pre-approvals, we're seeing down payment options, we're seeing point options. Like if you know you're competing with an online lender, show lowest rate with 2 points or a big bank. Do you do that? Like if you know they're at different rates, you show them?
Let me just grab one. Yeah, so the three main ones I do, I'll do price points. So like, you know, a few different, like a million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million with a fixed down payment. I'll do different down payment options. I'll do different PMI options for, you know, maybe 10, 15, and 20% down. Or, you know, do a couple of like single premium versus regular. Let's see. This is a buy down one. All right, this is perfect. Yeah, let me get this over. Hang on. Okay, let me share the screen here.
Boom, we see it.
Okay, so this would be a pretty typical buy down option. So this guy was, and these rates are obviously better than what they are now. But there's like a no point, half point, 1 point. This is a very typical mortgage TCA that I do. I literally could put this together in 45 seconds probably.
So guys, did you hear that? Would you say that Mortgage Coach saves you time?
Well, yeah, I mean, compared to, you know, creating a spreadsheet from scratch like I used to every time.
Yeah. So guys,
I mean, especially for templated, easy, basic scenarios like this that you're going to be doing 10, 15, 20 times a week. And then what I like about this too is once it's built and I send it to them, I say, listen, this is built. These are just generic numbers at this point. Like if you want me to run different scenarios off of different purchase prices, like now that it's built, I can literally go in there in 10 seconds and adjust any of these numbers, adjust the rates. And a lot of times I'll build something kind of just templated, generic, and then I'll hop on the phone with them and walk them through it as they're seeing me pop around. I think I haven't tracked it, but it's got to be 99% of the time I do that with somebody, they go with me. I mean, it's pretty much almost all that. I can't even think of one that I've done that with that they haven't really ended up going with us.
Love it. So it improves conversion. Do they comment on how much they like it or?
Yeah, you know, especially like the engineer is like, oh, this is cool. It's, you know, especially being able to like hop around and like control the screen and show them different options. And like, I love just changing options in real time. Like, all right, what if we change it to 1.5 million? Like, and then they see it change it on the screen. That, yeah, always very impressive.
So you go ahead and stop sharing the screen. So guys, that's another takeaway. The more you wow someone, the more likely they are going to be to take the time to do the review. So to me, the theme is going beyond the transaction. You've got to deliver value beyond the transaction. Sounds like you do have a client concierge, right? So you have a team member that's responsible for keeping clients for life.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say responsible for keeping clients for life. I'd say that he's my partner. And so we've kind of just divided and conquered. And he, you know, in this last 18, 24 months when it's been very heavy refi, I've positioned him 100% on past client refi conversions. So he's the one doing the analysis, doing the mortgage coach on these. And that's allowed me to really focus on continuing to deliver really good service for the purchase side of our business. Now I still talk to all my clients on the refi side. It's all past clients. So they're usually calling me. I'm like, great, send me your mortgage statement. I'll have my analyst and partner, Aaron, will work up some numbers, send them over to you. So I'm still involved in the conversion piece of it. But in terms of like keeping track of where they are, what rates they are, what he's quoted, all that stuff, he's been in charge of that. And I think to do kind of volume that we're looking to accomplish, you have to divide and conquer somewhat. Yeah,
there's no doubt. I did an interview yesterday with a top producer that closed a little under 500 loans, Danelle Riggs, and I interviewed her client concierge, Courtney. So I had both I had both Danelle and Courtney on the call.
Mm.
Highly recommend you check it out. I recommend that if you've got 1,000 or more mortgages under management, past customers, you should have a client concierge, and you should be using Mortgage Coach. Andrew, I'm going to push you. You should be doing annual reviews. Are you using HomeBot?
Yeah, HomeBot's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, HomeBot is
I mean, that's the best like drip marketing I've ever seen. Like 30, 40 times better than a generic out of a CRM in terms of like open rates, response rates. It's insane. I've never seen anything that's been like a drip marketing campaign. Like I still open that home. I'm on one of my realtors HomeBots who sold my house, and I'm still opening the emails from my old house that I don't even own anymore just to see what's going on. That's how interesting it is, you know, whether it's accurate or not, who knows, but I mean, anything to sort of get the conversation started. It's just formatted in a really good way. Yeah. I really like, I haven't done the integration in with Mortgage Coach yet, but sorry. I know.
What, dude? All right, guys, I'm going to put a link down below. It's, if you have Mortgage Coach in HomeBot, it will take you 45 seconds. So in you know, you're watching this on Facebook, you're watching this on YouTube, in the description down below, there'll be a link to how to turn on the Mortgage Coach button. And when you're answering this last question, I'll go ahead and put the link for you too. So first of all, why don't you give some closing thoughts, and then let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're moving into potentially a new phase of this market. I don't know. I still think it might be a little head fake, and we might still see mid to low twos before this whole cycle is said and done. But I don't know.
Agree. Well, Dan Rawich agrees with you, you know.
Right. Oh, does he? I haven't.
Yeah, I interviewed Dan yesterday, and he gave his market update.
Did he? I missed that. Yeah.
You know, we will see low lows again, but we will also see high highs again.
Right. I mean, whether there's a head fake or whether it's the real thing, like eventually the rates will go up. I mean, we all know that. So for me, I'm just sort of like pulling my head out of the, you know, getting back up, really trying to assess my business, taking the temperature of my team, making sure no one's burned out, seeing if I need to make any changes there. I think now is the time to kind of retool your business and use this little breath that we have, a little bit of breath in the market to really work on implementing anything that you've been backburnering just because everybody's been doing stupid volume.
Well, dude, you've been awesome, man. To think that you're closing 100 loans a year from Yelp, I think that's amazing. It goes to show the quality of the service that you're giving, because you couldn't have 194 reviews on Yelp if you weren't delivering great service. So really, guys, the takeaway here is this dude has turned the experience that he creates to families into a competitive advantage by getting reviews, and then it's just a snowball rolling down a hill.
And that's, for me, that's what it's been like for the last 5 or 10 years of just like keeping the snowball going. And it seems like every time the rates dip, you know, we have one of these, we do a better job every time it dips, and a better job this time, and a better job this time, just because we just implemented some of these tools that make it more efficient, easier to track. And I think that just really paring down to the real nuts and bolts and 80-20ing the things that really are getting you business, and getting rid of the stuff that's distracting you from getting the business, and figuring out what is your highest and best, and building your business to support that is I think the ultimate.
Yeah. You know, the only thing I would add, and this is my coaching advice for even you, is to properly staff that client concierge role. That is your most valuable asset. And knowing the numbers as I know them, if you've got 1,000 past customers under management, that's 100 loans a year in any market.
Easy.
Not just in a big refi market like this one, it might be 150 to 200 loans. But in any market, 10%, really about 20% of your people that have mortgages they're either selling their home, buying a new home.
Right.
They're doing a cause-driven refi, debt consol, inherited money,
cash out, rental properties,
rental properties. So make sure you're staffing, make sure you're doing annual reviews, make sure you're using HomeBot. And if you are using Yelp strategically like that, I'd love to hear about it. Guys, give us a like, share this with your friends. Andrew, you the man, bro. I appreciate you.
Thanks, bud. Good to see you.
Giving back to the Mortgage Coach community.
Always. Check us out on Clubhouse.
Oh yeah. Hey guys, every day
it's sick.
at 8:30 and
twice a day.
we're on Clubhouse, and Andrew is a moderator for the Mortgage Coach Clubhouse. So make sure you check that out. Thanks for
Thanks,
saying
guys.
that, brother.